Welcome into Lounge, presented by DraftKings. We are thrilled to sit down with Lamar Jackson, the guest of all guests. We got him. So, Lamar, let's just start out here, all right? I want to clear this up off the top.
Okay.
If you play for Team USA, okay, in the Olympics, flag football Olympics,
Yeah.
we're taking home gold. I mean,
Yeah.
let's just put that out there right now, right?
That's
So,
no doubt.
what do you think? 4 years in LA, we're going to see you out there?
I doubt it. You know, I'm a professional NFL player, so I'm just gonna stay over here. Like I tweeted, you know, let those guys have fun.
Okay, all right, but we got to set the record straight for those guys, though. If you wanted to,
Oh yeah, no doubt about it.
they go down.
Yeah, they go down. They go down. But I salute those guys because you know they performing for our country though. At the end of the day, you know, so I definitely salute those guys.
Yeah.
no doubt.
That's awesome. So, one of the big stories with you this summer, Lamar, has been weight loss.
Yeah.
So what's the key here to the weight loss?
So actually, I wasn't really trying to eat as much in the morning. You know, I was trying to like eat in the afternoon. I'll probably eat like, I shouldn't eat it probably, but Sarah probably wouldn't agree with it. So I eat like a Jimmy Dean like sausage, like corn dog sausage in the morning, like eat 1 or 2 of those, then probably like work out, run or something. So I was like cutting fat, like not really fat, but like a lot of the weight I gained off like fast, you know, just running a lot of cardio and stuff like that. And I feel good.
Yeah. So I know Ryan asked you last week, do you feel faster? You flipped it back on him. You said, well, do I look faster?
Yeah.
The answer was yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and we got it confirmed in the Packers joint practice. I don't know if you saw this, but their defensive tackle, Kenny Clark, he said, you know, I'm glad I don't have to face this guy in the regular season because I thought I had an angle on him.
Yeah.
And then he was just gone. He got that edge and he was gone.
Yeah.
So it's confirmed. I mean, do you feel like this year you're going to surprise some people with your speed now?
No, because I believe in the league. Those guys pretty much know how fast I was and is, you know, probably not when I had it, like when I was like 230 and stuff, 232 and stuff like that.
Right.
But I'm definitely back like where I was when I first entered the league in my first couple of years.
Yeah. Now, I know during training camp, I mean, it can be hard to keep your weight up, right?
Yeah.
Because every practice is so intense.
It's very intense.
Like how have you been able to do that? How do you compare even to when you first showed up?
Just making sure I get the right nutrition in my body, you know, lifting. Shout out to Coach Scott, man, lifting. And shout out to Sarah because she's making sure I have all the carbs and stuff I need while I'm working out and stuff.
Nice.
So at the start of training camp, John Harbaugh made the point of talking about you from a motivation standpoint and said that he felt like the goal, the vision for you is to go down as the greatest quarterback to ever play the game. And you said at the time that that's motivation. How has that served as motivation for you?
Yeah, just having your coach, you know, believe in you and look at you as a guy like that. You're the franchise quarterback, and for your coach to speak that way for you, it means a lot.
Mm-hmm. And does that vision to you, like, does that vision serve as something that like drives you every day? Do you have that for yourself? Like, what does that mean in your mind?
No, that don't really drive me, you know, because the world know what I really want. What really drives me, you know, is that just winning the Super Bowl at the highest level. You know, it's the last time you'll be playing football as in the professional aspect, and that's pretty much what drives me, man. Just wanting to be a champion, world champion in the National Football League. That's where my drive comes from.
I know you've had a lot of discussions in your quarterback room with T. Martin about championship quarterback, right?
Yeah.
And what it means to be a champion. And you look at Tom Brady and you're like, you've said it many times, he's the GOAT, man. He's got 7.
Yeah, no doubt.
Right? That's what it is.
Yeah.
Like in your eyes, when you look at Tom Brady, what is it that made him a championship quarterback?
I can't call it. Man. He got the way about it. He got a way about himself, man, where it's like he know what he's gonna do when he's out there on that field. His approach to the game, you know, and stuff like that. And I believe that what just separated him. And he got 7. He went to another team and got 1.
Right.
And I believe he was almost going again. Like he almost went twice with Buccaneers, you know. So right. That's just crazy, man. That's unheard of. And I wanna follow in those footsteps if anything.
Right. Yeah. Does that change kind of how, you know, you talk about the way he approached the game? Does that kind of impact how you approach the game? You know what I mean?
Nah, you know, I'm gonna be me at all times. I'm gonna always approach the game how I approach it. But at the same time, I want to be a champion.
Right.
Yeah. I know that you've had a chance to talk to Brady. I know you've talked to Peyton over the years, like whether it's interviews or events or things like that. Have you taken anything from those conversations with those guys? Like, what have you learned from any of those conversations with those two greats?
I really didn't have like a long conversation with those guys. It'd be like brief conversation of anything. You know, I really didn't have like a real sit down and try to pick their brain and stuff like that. So I don't really have an answer for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to go back to the point that you made about wanting to win a Super Bowl. And on one hand, it's obvious. Like, why do you want to win a Super Bowl? Of course, it's obvious. That's the pinnacle of the game. But like, this is something that you've been talking about literally since the moment you got drafted. We all know
April.
Yeah.
2018.
Yeah. Like we know that. And so what is it about winning a Super Bowl that is so motivating to you? Why do you want to win that so badly?
Like just being a little kid, playing video games and watching Super Bowls as a kid and seeing like the emotions those guys go through, like just hands on the head, like, you know, and disbelief, like, man, we were champions, man. And it's like confetti falling in slow motion and just, it's like, I want to be a part of that one day, you know? I won a Super Bowl when I was a little kid and it was like it meant the world to me, you know? So I can only imagine just winning it at the highest level, you know, in professional football, being a professional football player and just you know, you and another team in the NFC versus the NFC team and just winning it out of all, I'm gonna say 31 because we the 32, we part of the 32. So and beating all 31 teams and just achieving that award at the highest level is like, that'd be amazing.
Didn't you have the option when you won that youth football championship? They gave you the option to go into Disney World or getting a ring or something. You all chose the rings.
Yeah,
the only kids ever to pass up Disney World.
No, actually, see, they got it misconstrued. We thought we was gonna get the rings and go to Disney.
You thought it was both.
Yeah, we thought it was both. So they just like, nah, y'all wanted the rings. We like, what? Yeah, man, they got us on that one.
That's hilarious.
It was still worth it though, cause you know, Disney World always there. You know, the Super Bowls is hard to come by. Them rings hard to come by. So I'd rather have a ring.
That's right.
This is a simple question, but it's a complicated answer, I'm sure. Like, what in your mind will it take to win one?
Man, just, you know, winning when it counts. You know, just getting in that situation, you know, playoffs. You know, it's always the thing about, Lamar in the playoffs, but I don't believe people really watch Lamar play in the playoffs because Lamar is playing like a regular season game. Just how I perform in the regular season, I perform, you know, the same. But it's like, it's you got to, mistakes, you can't really have mistakes, you know, and they got to be all 11, you know, all 22 at all times, just trying to dig it out, you know, try to fight for that victory, man. And that's the only thing, you know, you got to lessen those mistakes and try to punch points on the board.
Yeah, I'm curious about that. Like, how difficult is that? You know, it's not like you want to change anything because you're a two-time MVP. You're one of the best players in the world, right? So it's not like when you get into those moments, or even your approach to the season, like you said, you're not approaching it any differently. No. But at the same time, there is this hurdle that you want to get over, right? So like, how do you balance, like, you know what, I'm pretty darn good, and I want to keep getting better, but I also don't want to change who I am. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, man. Just like you said, I'm just going there being who I am. You know, I know what I want to do. Everyone on the team know, you know, all of us just got to join in together and just get it done. That's all. Because it's when to go home in those playoffs. You know, it's not like you can lose a game and then, okay, I can prepare next week. Because the regular season, that's what it is. Like, okay, we got to go out there this week and perform better than we did last week. You only get one chance in the playoffs, you know, in 4 quarters. And the more you have the ball, probably the more chance you're going to have to win that game.
Right.
Do you at all feel, you know, we had Zays likely on the podcast recently, and he talked about you being a vocal leader out in practice, holding everybody accountable, execution, specifics, wanting to be really detailed in everything that you're doing, like wanting to excel on it out there on the practice field so that you can do it in the games. Have you become more vocal at all this year?
Yeah, I believe so. I see that in myself, you know, because sometimes Ronnie be like, don't be on the guys like that, like don't be on the linemen as much and stuff like that. But I'm like, bro, we got to do it. You know, we getting older. That's how I look at it. It's not to be on my guys, you know, because at the end of the day, I know they want to win. I know they compete, they busting their behind, but it's like we getting older. They need to hear that from me sometimes, you know, because me just sitting back, it's like, okay, Lamar got it. But it's like, no, I need y'all to have me so I could have it, you know, stuff like that. Just motivation. It's not never coming from a bad place. It's always motivation to my guys, but it's how I come by, you know, because they're not used to me speaking that much, you know, probably in the locker room just playing around, but on that field, they see on another side of me like, nah, I'm hungry, you know, so everybody got to be hungry.
Wow, it's just interesting because you make the point about getting older and like a sense of urgency.
Yeah.
And like, it's basically you and Mark Andrews and Ronnie on the offensive side that have been here since you've been here. That's the core.
Yeah.
And there's been a bunch of players that have come and left in that time. And so, like, I think that the window of opportunity here is still very wide open with you and the core that's in place here. But as you get older in your career, like, it seems to me in hearing you talk, like, that you feel a even greater sense of urgency knowing that you're going into year 7 and the clock's
feels like
ticking.
Father time is there.
Like, like you're still.
And I'm only 27. I just turned 27 January, but that's the way of life, especially in the football life. You know, man, you got to do it while you're young. You know, because when you're older, there's going to be younger cats, you know, younger than you coming in, and they're going to be hungry too because they want to win the Super Bowl as well, you know. So that's why I just be on the guys more now. That's all.
Interesting.
So you talked about feeling more comfortable in Todd Monken's offense in year 2.
Yeah.
In what aspect of operating this offense do you feel more comfortable in?
Oh, me just saying stuff earlier, you know, I'm sending defense. I'm going to my checks already, you know, I'm getting out of a play and putting us in a better situation, stuff like that. Probably what I would not have did last year, just because of the terminology and making sure I'm doing it right, you know, just making sure everything is done right. So now I'm a lot comfortable, man, going into year 2 in the system.
It sounds like you're talking a lot more, getting on the guys. We haven't heard Todd Monken yelling as much anymore, so I guess that's a good sign, right?
Yeah, that got to be good. That got to be good.
Can you talk about your connection with the Zays? You know, I mean, Zay Flowers, I mean, week 1 last year, I mean, you two just hit it off. And Isaiah Likely, like, we see you on the practice field. Like, you two are together all the time, talking to each other, breaking down what went right, what went wrong, all that stuff. It seems like you have really developed a special connection with them, as well as, you know, other guys like Mark and all those other guys.
Me and Mark, that's just bread and butter. Like,
right, exactly.
No matter, like, if Mark just out in practice like for a day or something, he come back, it's still the same. Like,
that never changes.
That don't change. Me and Mark is not changing at all.
Right.
But like you were saying, like, Zay Flowers, he's just a different kind of animal, man. He's hungry. Like, just going into year 2, he's so explosive and how he get out his routes. And it really don't matter. He can have an outbreaking route and the guy have him outside leverage. And it's like, okay, usually you'll move on from a receiver knowing that corner's outside leverage. But him is like, he still got a chance to win. So sometimes I might hang on a little bit just because I know he's going to win, you know, and he's going against great corners. It's not like he's going against practice squad guys. And not to say practice squad guys not good, because practice squad guys
he's
are
going
good.
against top corners.
He's going against top corners, man. So it's like, I can trust him, you know. And he got that dog in him. Right. Every time you're on that field, he don't even got to tell me to trust him. It's like, I already do. Like, you just do you. I'm gonna get you the ball.
Right.
And Isaiah Likely, man, he just same thing. Like, he want to dunk on people. He want to make things happen. He want to get the ball in space and just do him, man. Like, all of my guys like that, man. Bate, Nelly, like Mark, all those guys, they're hungry, you know.
Yeah.
They like, I feel like the LC championship game, like, just opened our eyes a little more, because, like, me being here, we never been there. We never made it that far, you know. So it's like, we definitely got a chance to level up a little bit more.
When you say it opened your eyes, what do you mean?
Like, we see, like, I believe we see the bigger picture, you know. Before, we losing division round, like, and we was young too. We was a lot younger. Like, we going to the division round, but we got to experience the AFC Championship, a game before the Super Bowl. It's like, bro, ain't no way we just went home like this. At home, it's like, nah. So, like, it's like, this is, it's totally different. Like, all of us are hungry.
Can I ask you one follow-up question on that? I've been curious about this, and just to circle back a little bit to the weight loss, the play where you caught your own pass.
That's supposed to be 6.
Oh, exactly. Was that part of the reason that you wanted to get quicker?
Definitely.
Yeah.
That was definitely one.
Which is so funny, because it was SB Player of the Year, right? And you're like, man, this play just ticks me off.
Yeah, it made me mad. Like, that supposed to been a touchdown. And the crazy thing about it, I was like, man, if I catch my own pass with a lane, that's a touchdown.
Oh, yeah.
And then it happened. I probably was a little shocked, like, oh,
it's happening.
It was like a movie, like, oh, and then I get tripped up. I'm like,
right.
Come on, man. All I can do is, like, smile, like, that's supposed to be a touchdown, man.
Right,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just so interesting in hearing you talk, because it certainly seems to me like you just have an appreciation for how hard it is to get to that point, and like how hard it is to win in this league. And like 6 years of experience, I guess, has taught you that. But like, it just seems to me in hearing you talk, like it's talking to you today is much different than talking to you in 2019 because of the appreciation for the experience. Yeah. And I'm just curious how all of that has shaped you into your mindset going into this year.
Oh, man, just from thinking about things like 2019, like, think if I had the same mindset, we probably would have won. And I'm not saying it's my fault or anything, but it's just like I'm much older, like, and I seen things like on the field and stuff like that. It's like, dang, go back and watch some film. It's like, dang, if we would have did this, we'd have had a chance. If we would have did this, we would have had a chance. But like me, I'm the type of person, I get tired of saying that, like, we would have had a chance. It's like, we got to do it now. You know, you got to do it now.
I'm curious. You talk about rushing, and I don't know if you've seen this stat. You need 852 rushing yards to surpass Michael Vick for the most ever by a quarterback. And I know you're not a records guy, but you are a Michael Vick guy. Like that, he's special to you. What would that record mean to you? Are you trying to get that one?
I'm trying to get a Super Bowl. Like the record come, so be it. You know, but that's not my goal.
Yeah.
If it happens, I'm gonna cherish it. You know.
Yeah.
Hopefully, the record won't be broken for a long time from now. But it's not my goal.
A follow up on that. Like, do you think? You know, your days, we have Derrick Henry now in the backfield. Do you feel like your days of rushing for 1,000 yards in this kind of offense, like those might be gone, right? And like it's a different Lamar now, right? Or do you still feel like, oh man, I lost this weight. I'm about to rush for 1,000 yards and throw for 4,000 yards, you know?
Man, whatever it takes to win. That's how I'm approaching everything. That's how I always approached it, you know. Before we had a run heavy offense too. You know, we had a lot of read option going on. But now, you know, we throwing the ball down the field. And then we got, like you said, Derrick Henry, a bat that can go for 2,000 yards in the season. So probably won't need to use my legs as much. Then we got Justice Hill. You know, we got Jay Kelly, man. We got Keaton coming back, stuff like that. So we got guys. We always had guys at running back. But, you know, like I always say, if I get a lane, if I'm going, I'm trying to score. I'm not trying to run and go out of bounds or fall. If I got a chance to go, I'm going to
go.
So Lamar, one thing I want to ask you about is a really difficult thing this week, which is the passing of Ravens offensive line coach Joe D. I mean, he was somebody we all would agree has had incredible impact on this team and this organization. You know, just how tough was that for you and for the team? And is there a story or a memory of Joe D that really stands out to you?
Man, I was actually asleep when that was announced to me. And I usually don't have my phone on ring. Like, I usually have my phone on silent when I'm asleep. So Coach T was calling me like, yeah, man, sorry to bother you, but Coach Joe D has passed. And I'm like it was unreal, you know, because they were just saying he was like doing good and stuff. You know, we found out he's doing good. So when I hear it, I'm like, all right, Coach. But I text him, I'm like, man, I don't like to hear bad news like that. Like, you know, it's not his fault. You know, he's just trying to keep me updated and stuff. But it's like, that was so unreal to hear. Like, you know, and I'm so used to Joe D always smiling, good energy, good vibes, and like Magic Man. He called me Magic Man. You know, he's like, man, I used to watch your games in Louisville, and you that guy, Magic Man. So for me not to hear that, like, you know, throughout the season and every day I see him, that's like, it's gonna be like a little, I don't know I can't find a word to use, but it's gonna be different.
One of my favorite Joe D memories was the spin move you put on the guys in Cincinnati. And on that play, he was telling the other offensive lineman, "Wait till you see this play." And Ronnie's like, "Wait till we see it. I saw it right in front of me. I watched it." And that play always stands out to me when I think of Joe D.
Yeah, man, that was a great guy, man. Great offensive line coach, man. Just good spirited guy to be around.
Yeah. I wonder, you know, is it a time when you kind of lean on family, right? And your mom has always been a guiding light in your life, you know, even at this stage of your career, you know, how much is she still kind of that guiding light for you personally and even as a player professionally?
Yeah, like that's my girl right there. That's my love right there, man. She gonna always be that the light for me, you know, no matter what, because that's what I've been through everything with, you know, her and my siblings. So
that's awesome. Well, Lamar, it's been really fun.
Appreciate
talking to you here today. I know it's we can't wait for this game coming up next week against the Chiefs for the season, and it's going to be another great year for you, man.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you guys.
Thanks for coming on, Lamar.
Appreciate you.
Thank you very much,
man. Thank you guys.
Right. Welcome back into the Lounge Podcast. We're coming to you from the SeatGeek studio. We also want to give a shout out to our friends at DraftKings Sportsbook. They are an official sports betting partner of the Baltimore Ravens. DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours. Also today, I want to make sure we mention the Winning Drive Napa Valley Wine Club, which is the exclusive wine club of the Baltimore Ravens. Right here next to me, you can see the beautiful box here, which is what the wine comes in. Join the Winning Drive Club and receive 2 annual shipments of premium Napa Valley wines presented in a vintage Fire-branded wooden crate. Ravens branded. It's nice. I mean, look at it there.
This is as close as I've ever come to being Vanna White.
Yes, exactly. Membership levels include exclusive access to Ravens events and experiences, free wine tastings in Napa Valley, and more. Visit winningdrivenapa.com to learn more and join today. Cheers to unforgettable moments with Winning Drive Napa Valley.
Good wine.
Yeah, it is. It's also, before you get any ideas, there's not wine in that actual box. So I know what you're thinking. You're going to try to sneak off with that.
After we're done taping here, this just comes under here.
The wine's already out of there, so I'm sorry to disappoint you. But check that out and really enjoy the conversation with Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
I think it shared some, to me, really good insight into just his mindset going into the season. I mean, he sounds like a veteran player who's learned from the experiences of the last 6 years and knows that, there's urgency. There's real urgency for him and this team.
Yeah, I think there's veteran in multiple ways, right? It's veteran in the way that he is approaching this season and he feels the clock ticking, we got to get this done now. And just the maturity level, the leadership that we're seeing on the field from him, the vocal aspect of his game, and then veteran in terms of the X's and O's and understanding this offense to a different level, getting the Ravens into better plays, right? Like he's just a more mature quarterback. And this is what we've known all along. Super talented guy. And as he matures in his game, he's going to get better and better. And I think, there's a real chance that this is the best version of Lamar Jackson that we've ever seen this year.
Yeah, Lamar's always been a leader in his own right. I think he's a leader in ways where he understands kind of the gravity of his position. And he knows when he speaks, it carries weight, and he knows that everyone's kind of looking at him. But it sounds from what he's saying and what others around him are saying is that he is taking that to another level this year from a vocal standpoint. He talked about that. Isaiah, likely, as we mentioned to him on the podcast, he talked about Lamar really challenging the guys. Kyle Van Noy has said that. I just think there's a number of players who have kind of said that Lamar is really holding everybody accountable this year.
Well, Isaiah Likely, said that as for as good a training camp as Isaiah Likely had, which we gave him our gold medal, right, for the best, that Lamar was saying to him, I know you have more. I know you have more. There's more left there, right? And that helped push Isaiah. And then to hear from Lamar that Ronnie Stanley is even being like, hey, man, you got to ease up on my offensive lineman here, right? Like, that shows you something. That's some insight right there, into Lamar and also into Ronnie, right? Yeah. And because that position group is going to be really key, because if they can't keep Lamar clean, if they have pressure in the backfield all the time, Lamar can't do his thing, right? And so it's interesting to see that Lamar is really holding those guys to a high standard because he knows how important that is.
Yeah, I think that I also found it interesting in hearing him talk about the second year of the offense under Todd Monken and why he thinks. And he's been asked a lot of questions about Todd Monken over the last 2 years and the second year and all that. But the flexibility and the ability to kind of see things at the line of scrimmage, I think is something that we're just going to see more and more of. Yeah,
absolutely. I noticed it a number of times in practice, when that defense would be showing blitz and you'd hear Lamar calling out different things. And one in particular, he hit a deep play to Zay Flowers after doing that. So that stuff it's so hard for us to know, right? Because you don't know all the times that he's checking. You don't know what he's checking from and to and all that stuff. But there's no doubt that has been elevated this season. And that was a big focus that Todd Monk has told us about, is to put more and more and more on Lamar's plate. And right now he's just he's feasting.
Yeah, I think that motivation has never been lacking, obviously, for Lamar. But I go back to hearing him talk about just being an older player and the urgency, and making the point that there's young guys that are always coming up that are trying to take your spot, in the sense of the Super Bowl. It only gets harder in some ways, getting to that point, and there's more and more challengers.
Well, and to me, it goes beyond motivation, right? There's a ton of players in the NFL who want to win a Super Bowl. All of them do. Right. And I do think Lamar, it just radiates from him. Right. But motivation doesn't win Super Bowls. Right. It's getting better as a player and that experience of having been there and all those things. And Lamar, it's disappointing for everybody that it hasn't happened yet, because he's been so good and this team has been so good so many times. They were so close last year. They had the best team in the league in 2019. Right. But I think those experiences have molded Lamar Jackson and will make him better suited to go all the way. And he's still 27. He feels father time a little bit, but there's still a lot of time left here if we're being realistic, right?
Totally.
He's going to have multiple bites at that apple.
Yeah.
And I think that all these experiences, you know, in being able to see what defenses are doing and being able to adjust, that is a tangible thing that helps you win championships, right? And all those things, I think, will help him get over that hump. Yeah,
I thought he made the point that the AFC Championship game last year against the Chiefs opened the eyes to him and some of the other key players on this team in certain ways. Just how hard it is to get there and what you need to do and to get over that hump, so to speak. So I'm excited about Lamar this year. I think he's going to be great once again. I think that this team is going to be great once again. And in a few days, they're going to be playing at Arrowhead to open the NFL season.
Pretty awesome.
Thursday night, Ravens Chiefs.
1 week from today.
Yeah, 1 week from today. Of course, a rematch of the AFC Championship game, and it's going to be an awesome, awesome environment. If you're not going to be in Arrowhead, right? If you're here in Baltimore, well, guess what? Come to our watch party that we're having at M&T Bank Stadium. It's going to be the place to be if you can't be in the stadium there in Kansas City. You want to be watching the game with the rest of the Ravens flock at M&T Bank Stadium Thursday night. You can get more information on that on our website, but the official Ravens watch party is going to be at the bank. It's going to be awesome. So make sure you get your tickets to that. That's it for us here on the lounge today. Thank you so much for listening, and we will talk with you again later this week.